Audio Jungle.
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू म्यूचुअल फंड टॉक। मैं हूं नवीन सोनी। ये है हमारा स्पेशल एडिशन जहां पर हम आपको बताएंगे कि मार्केट्स में जो इतनी वॉलेटिलिटी है, इस वक्त जो उथल पुथल है, उसके बाद आप क्या कर सकते हैं। क्या एज म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टर्स आपको बाजार में कुछ करना चाहिए या फिर बने रहना चाहिए, या फिर आप कुछ ऐसी स्ट्रैटेजीज बना सकते हैं जिनसे कि आप फायदा उठा सके। वी हैव विद अस ए बालासुब्रमण्यम, हु इज द सीईओ आदित्य बिरला सन लाइफ म्यूचुअल फंड. Bala, thank you so much for joining us. And is this now looking a new normal? You're talking virtually.
Yeah, thank you, Naveen, and my pleasure to be part of this show again. As you rightly put it, these are uncertain time. Coming on the back of COVID-19 is something the world has never seen in the last say 3 decades. Something a challenging time, and the challenging time, of course, we'll have to keep our optimism, hope very high. At the same time, cope up with the emerging situations and adjust ourselves to the way we have to keep doing our work. At the same time, keep our expectations for the futures with some kind of optimism.
Sure. Now, talking about the markets, they've been very, very, very volatile. Understandably so, because we have a COVID-19 and then we have fears of economies going into recession or slowdown. Do you think things are settling anytime soon?
Yeah, I think the way things are moving, I think it's about 4 weeks old. I think since November, as it started from China and then moved on to rest of the countries globally, and most of the global politicians have taken very aggressive stance in the name of lockdown to contain the whole virus spread. I think I have seen some kind of good progress. The entire medical community is working overtime to find the right medicine for this purpose. I'm assuming that soon they will find some solution for this. And they have actually made some kind of inroad, but still too early to say that yes, they have found it. So all these things, I think, in my view, will converge the next 3-4 weeks. And as it is, the number that's been flowing from China is showing an improvement. Korea has done a good job, and they have shown a good improvement. And even Italy, whatever they were, I think, pretty early in the race in terms of getting affected. And even they are now finding some solution for progress on some of the problems that they faced. In India too, the number of cases are actually not going up manifold, which means that we'll probably at the stage where the COVID-19 related issues may come to, I'm not saying fully come to an end, but at least may get contained quite significantly.
So इन्वेस्टर जो है वो काफी कंफ्यूजन में है। उनको लगता है कि एक तरफ से तो बिकॉज मार्केट्स हैव गिवन देम एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, सो मे बी दे शुड इन्वेस्ट। दूसरी तरफ से लगता है कि थोड़ा सा देख लेते हैं, लेट्स वेट एंड वॉच। जो म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, व्हाट आर दे डूइंग? सम ऑफ द नंबर्स दैट वी हैव सीन, उनमें लग रहा है कि शायद थोड़ा सा मैच्योर हो गया है मार्केट और पीपल आर इन्वेस्टिंग। व्हाट आर यू एक्सपीरियंसिंग? व्हाट आर यू सीइंग?
I think ये हमेशा ये क्वेश्चंस हमेशा आते रहते हैं, क्योंकि मार्केट नीचे आते हैं तभी लोग सोचते हैं, और उधर मार्केट गिरने दें तभी डालते हैं, और मार्केट बढ़ते हैं तभी सोचते हैं एक्चुअली मार्केट गिरने दें उसके बाद पैसे डालते हैं. दिस इज द डायलेमा इन विच मोस्ट ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स लिव all through the market situations. See, I'll just simply go by one principles. 1999 technology bubble, 2001 we had a domestic scam, stock market scam. Then 2008 we had a Lehman Brothers crisis globally, and 2013 we had interest rates, which is again related to the domestic. And then 2018 we had an ILFS financial market crisis. So whenever this kind of crisis happens, market tend to react substantially to a lower number. I think what we have seen in the last 1 month, even मेरा 30 साल का career में इतना बड़ा fall कभी देखा नहीं था. It is the first time I am saving 40% fall from the peak in the 1 month time. So which is basically market is actually creating a gloom days as we move forward. सब कुछ slow down हो जाएंगे, and therefore किधर से company earnings किधर से आएंगे. So a lot of people actually have been selling. Both financial institutions and global investors, they have sold quite aggressively. But I think what we also see, whenever such fall happens, market valuation gets corrected, everything comes to a normalcy, and whatever excess that generally gets created when the hype market, when the market rises, those excess also gets removed to this such kind of fall. मेरे हिसाब से जो market का जो साफ होना है actually last जो एक महीने के fall में, the valuation, excess valuation जो correct होना है वो सब हो गया है. Therefore, it is something one should look at as an opportunity actually to start buying. And I'm not saying just jump and buy big time, because overall reset of economy has happened. I think the whatever we have been seeing in the last 20 years, it got completely reset, and now from here onwards, the economy will take some time to pick up. So therefore, market also will gradually move up. But I think hope and optimism एक बार आ गया. I think hope and optimism एक बार आ गया. So the market may give a good bounce back. Therefore, one should just keep this in mind that whenever such volatility happens in the market, investors' point of view, one should consider the option of investing, buying mutual fund schemes rather than either selling. Or even if you hold back, you don't need to hold back all your money. Some portion of the money you can hold back, and some portion of the money one can take the bet of investing.
जो खासतौर से इंडियन इकोनॉमी है, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन जो है पहले थोड़ा स्लो डाउन में थी. नाउ because of all these things, it may probably go into further slowdown. But there are also voices which are appearing and saying कि जो हमारी economy है, probably it will not be that affected. So, would you agree with that? And how much time do you think will take to come back?
Yeah, no, I think Indian economy also is equally getting affected because of COVID. क्योंकि जो lockdown जो है, I think India has been struggling for the last 1.5 years on growth. There has been a growth slowdown, and in India has been a little slow in reacting to financial market crisis. I think they have been very good in reacting to the social crisis, and the financial market crisis, I think we have been facing for the last almost 2 years. So उसको वजह से already slowdown आ चुका है. और कोविड का हिसाब से the lockdown जो किया है, इसको वजह से और थोड़ा 1-2% का GDP growth निकल जाएगा. This is a uniform across the world. I think whether it is US slowdown, Europe, Japan, everywhere there is a slowdown. But India के लिए एक अच्छा काम आ सकता है. जो India का जो potential जो है, especially on increasing the investments in building infrastructure. This has been the old conventional method of building the growth in India that continues. Indian consumption remains one of the largest consumption theme in the world. And third, of course, the agriculture economy continues to remain one of the largest in our economy. Rural economy continues to remain very large in India. Therefore, all these three factors, अगर government का अगर steps लेना शुरू कर देंगे, especially on stimulus, fiscal stimulus जो बोलते हैं, fiscal stimulus, और government gives specific support to certain sectors, उसके वजह से I think economy उठ सकता है, ऊपर उठ सकता है. और दूसरा, I think the Reserve Bank of India, as a monetary policy authorities, have been cutting interest rates. Just ensure that interest rate बार इतना नीचे रख देंगे, liquidity नीचे रख देंगे, इतना high रख देंगे, उसके पीछे that the lending rates will start coming, interest rates start coming down, consumer का जो buying behavior है वो change हो सकता है. But all these things are not going to happen say next 3 months or 6 months. मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा time लगेगा. But India मेरे हिसाब से जो last 7 साल से under Prime Minister Modi जो हिसाब से government का run कर रहा है, there could be some change in the next 1 year. More towards lifting the economy, because at the end of the day, Prime Minister also will understand to create jobs. Economic growth has to be there. To create prosperity in the country, you need to have economic growth. Therefore, मेरे हिसाब से government का think focus शायद अच्छी तरफ से shift हो सकता है to lift the economy. Therefore, India probably may gain out of that compared to the global economies.
Okay, so effectively you're saying that we are shielded as against the other economies of the world. Let's say we are now at a range of about 4.5 to 5%. Going forward, do you think we can maybe slip to 3% or something like that and then come back? Maybe some sort of a U-shaped recovery is what you're looking at?
Yeah, I think we'll see the bigger slowdown. I think the sales are not there, tax collections are poor. All such things will start reflecting the next 2-3 months. I think GDP growth will reflect. and we'll probably see a gradual uptick because no consumers are going to jump and buy just because he has to buy. I think शायद जो customer का जो consumer behavior जो है, I think that'll probably change a little bit, and that'll, I think, will take some time for it to come back to the animal spirit and buying mode and spending mode. Fortunately, I think June onwards you'll have the onset monsoon coming in, and then subsequent to that your festival season will begin. I think combined, if we take, I think we could probably see a gradual uptick in the economic growth. I think it's not going to be a V-shaped recovery. It's going to be a gradual upward movement. But at the same time, stock market, I think stock market, we have to look at it differently. The way I think stock market fell, about every day almost about 4, 5%, 7%, 8% kind of fall I've never seen. Probably the market has to just give a similar kind of bounce back first. And that probably can come in the market. And then gradually the market will settle down on the basis of the valuations. Because the company may actually growth aa raha hai, this company may degrowth aa raha hai. Once the company actually is willing, now this new avatar is going to come back big time. All such things will start playing a role.
Okay. Now you were talking about the consumption patterns and habits. अब क्योंकि बहुत लोग मिनिमलिस्टिक लाइफस्टाइल में रह रहे हैं, बाहर नहीं जा रहे, तो हॉस्पिटैलिटी को उससे अफेक्ट आ रहा है. डिस्क्रिशनरी एक्सपेंसेस नहीं हो रहे, आपको अपने कुछ भी फैशन आइटम्स, लाइफस्टाइल आइटम्स जो ले रहे हैं, they are not happening. White goods are probably not happening. So do you think once people get into this habit, will they take some time to come back, or things will become normal? Because this is probably now looking like a new worry कि consumption जो है, लोग अपने आप को थोड़ा सा, जैसे कहते हैं कि जैसे हिंदी में सादा जीवन उच्च विचार, उस तरह का अगर लाइफस्टाइल लेते हैं, so do you think that will also affect the Indian economy or the consumption story?
I think interesting, Naveen. ये सवाल I think last 2-3 हफ्ते से is coming across the globe. The मेरे हिसाब से while the business model undergo change, consumer behavior undergo change, I think my always belief is public memory is short, and people will start thinking about this COVID-19 and related experience for say next 2 months or 3 months. Ultimately, the whole thing has created some bit of how do we remain efficient sitting at home, still doing your work. Second is how can actually preserve some of this money which otherwise would not have preserved, the form of unwanted spending, etc. But that, in my view, will remain in the memory of people for some times. But again, animal behavior of human being thing will come back. May not be come back in the next 3 months or 6 months. Definitely, it will come back over a period of next, say, 1 year. As the money starts coming into your hands, then you will start actually looking at now what to do, buying a house, buying a car, buying a two-wheeler, all such things, in my view, given the nature of, in general, citizen of every country, and in particular India, I view consumptions will come back. It's only the question of time. It's not about question of whether it's coming or not.
Okay. Also, could that be channelized to the saving platforms like a mutual fund or other instruments that are available? Do you think the money that now people are saving, they will also think कि अगर आगे कुछ ऐसे हालात आ गए, so they should maybe be more prepared and channelize some of the money into savings?
I think that will remain. I think the way I see is for mutual fund, I think we'll probably move towards the way the US savers have been saving for their future. I think Indian mutual fund industry have passed almost about 3 decades since the time private sector mutual fund came. And we are still selling on the basis of the product, selling on the basis of fixed income and equity kind of model. But I think globally, people have moved away from this kind of product-based selling to a solution-based selling. I think solution-based selling definitely addresses the needs of the long-term savings of the investors. Therefore, I think after seeing such a sharp fall in equity, such a good experience on fixed income, leaving aside the credit funds, I think ultimately people are now beginning to realize what would make you successful investing in the market is through the asset allocation model. I think the savings pattern in India mein jo hai, I think they'll start coming into the mutual fund. Second, I think people may not realize right now, Government of India ne on 1st of April, your savings rate jo pehle tha, which is you go to postal saving deposits, you keep your money, and go to PPF, keep your money, and on all these such savings, the Government of India has cut the rates by almost about 0.5%, 0.5% to 1.5%. So it is a big, sharp reduction they have done. उसको वजह से now those investors start looking at alternate. Mehra says some portion of that, some money would come into the mutual fund in the form of an SIP, keeping in mind the long-term needs of savings.
Okay, actually that is what I was coming to, debt versus equity, because many people, they have been investing in equities, but the kind of sharp fall that you see, many may be able to take it, many may be prepared to take it, but many may not be able to take it. Plus also some people may think कि हम अपना एक future के लिए earning a source generate कर ले, in terms of a regular income that comes in, where debt sometime may help. So how do you compare these two classes?
So I think the way once you look at it, the equity market will go through ups and downs, and the equity market the return expectation जो है, that also will go through cycles, because that is directly linked to the nominal GDP, which is GDP plus inflation plus risk premium that we can provide. आज के दिन पे अगर equity में किसका expectation set करना है for the next 5 years के लिए, so GDP अगर growth अगर 5.5-6% तक अगर best case scenario में आ गया, and the 3 to 4% on inflation if we take, the equity at best case scenario can give you about 12 to 14%. So that's I think assumption one can make. So at the same time that 12 to 14% comes with such a huge volatility. इसके लिए हमेशा that the investors have to look at asset allocations. So you put say 50 rupees in, or 100 rupees, 50 rupees you put in equity, 50 rupees in fixed income. Fixed income also will go through volatility. I'm not saying fixed income volatility नहीं रहेंगे, volatility कम रहेंगे. At the same time, fixed income nature itself is give you some fixed return that you earn on your portfolio, unlike in equity, which the price fluctuation is the one which makes your NAV movement. Whereas in fixed income, you have two components, daily accrual that comes in the form of interest, ब्याज हिसाब से जो interest accrue होते जा रहे हैं, so that's a boost your NAV. Second, fluctuation in the prices boost your NAV, and I mean make your change NAV change. So this component will give you protection. Therefore, I always advise people, it is when you invest in mutual funds, you put money in fixed income, some portion, that it can vary from the moderate to conservative to aggressive investors. Assuming I'm a moderate customer, 50 rupees you put it in equity, 50 rupees and you put in fixed income, and then look at that portfolio performance over a period of 10 years, can give a better experience than taking one-sided exposure to equity and or one-sided exposure to fixed income.
Okay. Now talking about sectors, for some people who may actually have been into that category where they are slightly matured and have had their exposure to the diversified funds or index funds, auto as a theme has actually already been beaten down a lot because consumption वहाँ पर बहुत कम थी. अब क्योंकि लोग घर पर हैं, they are not traveling much, and then already the sector was reeling under this problem. Do you think this will be able to bounce back? And also some related sectors like oil and gas and the associated sectors, do you think this is probably the time to stay away from these, or they are presenting an opportunity for future?
I think auto sectors, one has to divide them into three parts. One is the auto sectors, which is a two-wheeler, which actually covers the large the buyer's market. Then the car, again, car we have divided into two parts, which is the affordable car versus the luxury car. And third is the commercial vehicles. Commercials, again, one has to divide into two parts, with smaller tonnage vehicles and higher tonnage vehicles. I think these things, I think, will move depending upon how the economy is going. So naturally, where there is a large pool of addressable population is there, I think they may tend to do well in this kind of situations. And then the fourth piece within the auto sectors is the entire replacement market that they take care. The replacement market, irrespective of whether you sell new cars and so on and so forth. So that segment is there. So as a money manager, when you look at each segment of the opportunities and then see where there will be a huge number of sustainability. Predictability is very, very high. At the same time, they are not directly linked to the economic slowdown. Therefore, accordingly, is money manager take a call in taking exposure to the auto as a sector. The same way, oil and gas is something what you mentioned about. I mean, they get the biggest benefits today with the oil price drop in globally. It's close to about $25 crude oil price. I think it is predicted to be somewhere around $25 to $40 over a period of next 1 to 2 years. अगर oil price 25 से $40 तक अगर इतना long period sustain हो जाते हैं, naturally India will become the large beneficiary, especially for auto sectors. Then the other input industries which uses the crude oil as one of the raw material, as such benefit will come. It also benefit oil marketing companies to some extent to benefit out of these such a low oil prices. So I think it's something which is going to be interesting as we move forward to understand the oil-related impact on India.
Okay. Also, some of the other sectors which are key to consumption are FMCG and white goods, or durables as we call them. So these two, do you think they'll continue to be safe bets?
I think consumption is historically, if I look at it, wherever there is a permanent theme in the form of a consumption, I think the non-discretionary consumption, आपको खरीदना ही है, आपको खाना ही है, actually certain cheese, you'll anyway is part of your household expenditure at all point of time. See, whenever such kind of things are there, companies operate in that space, generally they tend to do well in the long run. They do go through a high P multiples kind of stages, but that does not mean that high P multiples it's actually it's something is bad.
Okay, so would you at this point in time overall take a risk of predicting when the market highs will be back?
So I think frankly, the last 1 month fall that I mentioned about, it was unprecedented, never expected. Of course, it had to happen because of the way I think the government has been taking steps to ignore the economy in order to ensure that citizens of the countries remains healthy. And that call they haven't taken. For both, the market has fallen. As they start taking steps towards coming back on normal, I would assume the market may give a good bounce back. I think the way we have been saying, the market has corrected by about 43% from the peak. It has bounced back at roughly about 14%. Maybe in the immediate term, one can expect maybe about 10-12% kind of increase. And then the incremental movement will depend upon how things are shaping up from a growth perspective.
Okay, so looks like maybe a difficult call right now. But talking about the mutual fund investors, because here we actually advise or actually recommend going for the expertise that mutual funds have, and probably invest through mutual funds because they are the ones who have all the information and the expertise. क्या आप राय देंगे ऐसे इन्वेस्टर्स को जो कि आपको अभी सुन रहे हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड में जो लोग थोड़े से कंफ्यूज हैं, जो लोग सोच रहे हैं कि फायदा उठाया जाए? So finally, I'll probably like to end with your advice to mutual fund investors.
Yeah, I think clearly from mutual fund investors' point of view, I think जो market का जो volatility देखते हैं, that should not make you scared by investing, and one should continue the investment that they have been making in SIP. Somebody has been making SIP investment, they should continue. Somebody who can continue and increase the exposure to SIP, they should do it. Somebody is not making any investments at all, given the high volatility, they are scared. I think they must start again keeping in mind that market will anyway do well in the long run. And third, of course, is the fourth, which is respect to the asset allocation. I think ultimately the key to the success in the mutual fund industries will come on the asset allocation, not on the basis of we saying, equity अच्छा है, पूरा पैसा इधर में डाल दो आपने, debt market अच्छा है, पूरा आपको debt market में डाल दो. So these are some of the things that are all more seasonal. I think from industrial success will come not by making seasonal investments, by making investments that's actually longer term in nature, which will come in the form of asset allocation. I think as long as you keep that as a principle between equity and debt, keep a high focus on SIPs, and whenever we have some surplus money, put that money in the lump sum, but spread over, say, next 1.5 months time frame, the form of an STP. And these are the simple principles if I follow on mutual funds. And of course, hear all our voices, hear whatever the noise that is coming in the media. But at the same time, some you take, some I think you may have to live it in order to get your success for your own investment.
Okay, I hope इससे काफी clarity आएगी. तो मैं लोगों के लिए repeat कर दूं आपने जो कहा है, because these are the words which will actually help them tide through. And not only tide through, actually also help them to plan for their future. तो अगर आप SIP में इन्वेस्ट करें तो करते रहिए, ये कहना है वाला का. और दूसरा वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपने अभी तक नहीं किया, आप फेंस पर बैठे थे, तो धीरे धीरे करके अगर आपके पास लमसम है तो उसको आगे आने वाले टाइम में थोड़ा सा स्प्रेड करके इन्वेस्ट करें. तो इस वक्त एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है, लेकिन गलती नहीं करनी, एकदम जबरदस्ती या जल्दी नहीं करनी, सोच समझ कर करना है. आपको अपनी एक लॉन्ग टर्म में जो एसेट एलोकेशन है वो भी देखना है कि आपका कितना पैसा इक्विटी में है, कितना डेट में है, और आपके लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स जो है उनसे वो कैसे अलाइन होता है. थैंक यू सो मच बाला फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस टुडे एंड फॉर ऑल दीज words of wisdom and insights into the market. We really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Naveen. One of the last point I also wanted to say, Naveen, to what you just added, is a lot of people also think about should I redeem my investment, should I stop my SIP? मेरे हिसाब से वो भी गलती नहीं करना चाहिए. ये मार्केट पे इतना मार्केट गिरने के बाद वो भी गलती नहीं करना चाहिए. Therefore, investors should just keep that in mind.
Of course, yes. Thank you so much, Bala, again for joining us. तो आज के शो पर इतना ही, लेकिन हम आपके लिए एक और शो लेकर आएंगे. So we'll be back again with another episode of Mutual Fund Talk. Thank you so much for joining. This is Naveen Soni, your host, saying goodbye.
Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.